Frank Sinatra Jr. lived under a legendary name, but his own story is darker than most realize. From a headline-making kidnapping to mob rumors, bitter family battles, and secret affairs, his life was full of scandal, mystery, and pain. These 10 shocking facts expose the shadow behind the spotlight. Number 1. The kidnapping that shocked the nation. On December 8, 1963, just weeks after JFK's assassination, Frank Sinatra Jr. was abducted at gunpoint from Harrah's Lodge in Lake Tahoe by Barry Keenan and Joe Amsler. He was just 19 years old. The kidnappers demanded $240,000, worth over $2 million today, from his father, who frantically complied. Sinatra Jr. was released unharmed 2 days later near Bel Air. The FBI quickly arrested the kidnappers, who bizarrely claimed the act was a business venture. Yet the story didn't end there. For decades, speculation simmered that the event was staged to launch Jr.'s career, especially since Keenan later tried to sell movie rights. Sinatra Jr. always denied it, calling the theory sick. But even he admitted the experience left permanent scars. Could a real crime have been twisted into a PR opportunity, or was it the opposite? Number 2. Traces of the mob, FBI surveillance and Sinatra Jr. Frank Jr. inherited not only his father's name, but also the suspicions and scrutiny that came with it. Between 1965 and 1980, the FBI compiled a file of over 200 pages on him. The Bureau tracked his performances in casinos tied to the mob, particularly those managed by men connected to the Chicago outfit and Genovese crime family. He was spotted associating with known mob figures like Johnny Rosselli and even performed at events sponsored by Teamsters boss Jimmy Hoffa's allies. Though never charged with wrongdoing, Sinatra Jr. was considered a person of interest in the FBI's ongoing probe into organized crime's influence in entertainment. Ironically, his father had once been questioned over alleged ties to Sam Giancana. Jr. claimed, "There were no mob connections. We were musicians, not gangsters." Still, his regular appearances in mob-controlled venues told a different story. Was Frank Jr. just in the wrong company, or was he more involved than he let on? Number 3. Father-son fractures, a cold, business-only bond. Despite the public illusion of a close relationship, Sinatra Jr.'s bond with his father was emotionally distant, even frigid. Frank Sr., often touring or embroiled in Hollywood drama, was absent during much of Jr.'s youth. Sinatra Jr. confessed in later years, "He was my boss, not my father. He gave me gigs, not hugs." Their working relationship began in the 1980s when Jr. became his father's musical director. Yet Jr. felt like he was merely an accessory to the Sinatra brand. Sources close to the family noted that Sinatra Sr. criticized his son's voice, saying he lacked charisma. In private, Jr. lamented that his father never came to my defense when critics ridiculed his career. The emotional void lingered even into adulthood. Did Sinatra Sr.'s towering shadow crush the spirit of his only son? Number 4. A life of comparison and rejection. Throughout his life, Sinatra Jr. was plagued by the impossible task of living up to the chairman of the board. Even when he performed flawlessly with orchestras, critics often dismissed him as a pale copy. He once remarked bitterly, "I spent my life as a character in someone else's story." Despite his classical training and deep understanding of vocal arrangement, many saw him as a nostalgia act. Vegas promoters often booked him to attract older Sinatra fans, not for his own merit. One promoter even told him to his face, "We need the name, not the act." He lived in the shadow of a legend, and it haunted every performance, every review, and every introduction. No matter how hard he worked, the world saw Sinatra and expected something else. Number 5. The Mia Farrow Circle Affair. In the late 1970s, after Frank Sinatra Sr.'s short-lived marriage to actress Mia Farrow had ended, rumors began circulating that Sinatra Jr. had been romantically involved with one of Farrow's closest friends. The woman's name was never confirmed, but gossip rags like the National Enquirer and Confidential implied it may have been actress Barbara Parkins or a woman from Farrow's activist circle. Friends claimed Pharaoh was outraged when she learned about the affair, accusing Jr. of violating trust and family boundaries. Sinatra Jr. never addressed the scandal publicly, but it deepened tensions between the Sinatra and Pharaoh camps. Some insiders even claimed this was one of the early rifts that reopened old family wounds from Sinatra Sr.'s romantic entanglements. Was this just love or a twisted act of rebellion within Hollywood royalty? Number 6. Ronan Pharaoh and the Paternity Storm. The long-standing rumor that Ronan Pharaoh is not Woody Allen's son but the biological child of Frank Sinatra Sr. has rocked Hollywood for years. But few discuss the emotional toll it took on Frank Jr. as Ronan's resemblance to Sinatra Sr. fueled media speculation. Jr. was reportedly livid. Friends claimed he felt the rumor insulted both his mother Nancy Barbato and the Sinatra legacy. He refused to speak publicly but allegedly cut ties with anyone who joked about the issue. The timing of Ronan's birth, December 1987, and Pharaoh's continued closeness to Sinatra Sr. raised eyebrows. Even FBI biographer Anthony Summers later acknowledged persistent rumors. Yet Jr. stood firm in private, "It's trash, and I want nothing to do with it." Number 7. Family wealth and a sibling rift. When Frank Sinatra Sr. died in 1998, his estate, valued between $200 million and $600 million, became a lightning rod for family tension. While daughters Nancy and Tina controlled most of the Sinatra estate, including licensing rights, Jr. received only a portion of the inheritance. Though he had worked as Sinatra Sr.'s conductor and musical director, Jr. had no control over decisions related to the family brand. Friends reported bitter arguments over who could approve commercials, song usage, and archival footage. Jr. was reportedly furious that he needed permission to use his father's image during performances. In a rare interview, he stated, "Some people inherit money. I inherited legal red tape." Number 8. Death flight, near disaster in 1997. In February 1997, Sinatra Jr. boarded a private jet to Boston for a concert tour. Mid-flight, the cabin lost pressure and the jet began a rapid descent from 37,000 feet. The emergency oxygen masks malfunctioned. Sinatra Jr. reportedly lost consciousness. The pilot executed a miraculous emergency landing at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey. A flight attendant later told People magazine, "He looked pale as death when we landed. He was lucky to be alive." The incident was not widely publicized, but Sinatra Jr. later canceled several shows citing health concerns. Those close to him said it triggered nightmares for months and deepened his fear of flying, though he continued touring until his death. Number 9. A secret child? In 2006, a woman named Geraldine Lyle claimed she had a son by Frank Sinatra Jr. in the 1970s. DNA tests were never made public, and Sinatra Jr. never acknowledged the child. Lyle later stated in a tell-all book that she had been paid to keep quiet, but eventually came forward due to financial hardship. The Sinatra estate has always denied the claim, but tabloids speculated that hush money may have changed hands. Number 10. A lonely death, far from the spotlight. Frank Sinatra Jr. died of cardiac arrest on March 16, 2016, at age 72, while on tour in Daytona Beach, Florida. He was scheduled to perform that night at the Peabody Auditorium. He died just after a routine soundcheck. Though he had performed over 5,000 shows in his lifetime, Sinatra Jr. never gained the mass appeal his father enjoyed. A fellow musician said, "He died on the road, like a true working musician, but also a man who never truly escaped the ghost of his last name." His funeral was private. In the end, he was remembered more for being Sinatra's son than for the music he gave his life to.